lot about shadow theater and about the shadow, and yet there is something which I did not mention. The shadow is a slave, a dependent of the light, and therefore the work with shadows is actually even more an activity with light. A view into other art forms clarifies what I want to say. For example, the painter's tool is the brush and the color. The sculptor's tool is the hammer and the chisel. And wherever you look, it is always a material that is the starting basis. In shadow theater, it is the light. It is not a material, it is an energy. Better, the result of an encounter, of a meeting between this energy and a material. And we are catching this result with a screen that gives us the picture that we need to tell our stories. And they can be very, very different and has a million faces depending on the material and on the amount of energy that hits the material. But these images that we use for our stories, these shadows, reflections and refractions, are only a small part of a finally incomprehensible variety. Light is the really big secret. And for me, it is always very exciting to know more about it. It's just enriching and inspiring. And maybe for you, it's the same, and you would like to know more about the backgrounds. There are traces into science anyway, into philosophy, and in the end, it covers our whole life, even though we are not really conscious about it. And that's the reason why I brought some books for my collection, some of my treasures, and they are about light and about shadow, of course. And the first recommendation I have, this is written in German, but it's available in English. It's called The Discovery of the Shadow, written by Roberto Casati, an Italian, I don't know the name of his profession. He's living in Paris, writing books about holes and about shadows and so on. And this is a real treasure because it talks about very different aspects of the shadow, like about the century of the shadows, where scientists tried to use the shadow to get their results about the distance from here to there and how big the Earth is and so on. A real treasure and a must for all those who work with shadows and shadow theater. The next one is in English. It's called it's called The Universe of Light. Let me see. The Empire of Light. It's called The Empire of Light from Sidney Perkovitz. It's about 250 pages and it's about classical light, about modern light, about all aspects about light. And it's easy to understand and a very good book for holidays, for vacation. Not a good book for the evening if you're in bed. You need a bit of concentration to get through, but it's worth reading it. And the same is for this book. It's called Catching the Light, the entwined history of light and consciousness. This is the German title. It's written by an American physician called Arthur Zayong. And this is a book that talks about the questions that mankind had concerning the light and about the answers the light gave and about the questions that rose again, about the new questions and about the common history and about how our consciousness grows through the questions that we ask about light. A very, very good book, a real treasure for all those who are interested. Then there is a book about shadow theater. It's volume 3 out of 4. It's called Theory and Practice, edited by Rainer Reusch, the founder of the International Shadow Theater Center and the founder of the International Shadow Theatre Festival that takes place each 3 years in Schwäbisch Gmünd. And it's a book which really contains all the necessary information for beginners about light sources, about material, about how to create puppets, and so on. A very inspiring book. And the very last one is a very fresh book. It's published in 1915, not even a year ago. And it's from Fabrizio Montecchi. It's called Beyond the Screen. And I talked about Fabrizio already in my tutorial, the very first ones. He is the great philosopher among the shadow players. He's the one that really went very, very deep into the science, into the depth of this art form, into the heart of the shadow. And here he wrote down his thoughts, and there are many pictures from his works, from his shows, and it's just a big recommendation. And that's it already concerning the books, and hope you have a lot of joy, a lot of fun reading them, and it lightens your enthusiasm, and you can go on with the help of these books. And that's it for that. See you.